Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Linda. This is Nepwood Cottage, and this is kind of the start of what I'm hoping becomes my homestead series, I guess. I don't know. We're basically homesteading, and I know that's kind of like a weird, there's so many things under the umbrella of homesteading, and I think a lot of people have different opinions of it and what it means. And for us, it means to strive towards being more self-sufficient, more self-reliant, all that good stuff. If you watched my last video, thank you so much for watching. In that video, I was kind of explaining that we had moved into a mobile home on 1.5 acres with a pond, and this is where we're gonna be because I'm done moving. So we're gonna make it work. Now, there's just the two of us, so it's really not a big deal with only 2 people, to be honest. On 1.5 acres, it's doable. Are we gonna be able to grow all the food that we will be eating? Most likely not. Will we be raising all the food that we'll be eating? Most likely not. But for us, homesteading, like I said, is getting towards that self-reliance, self-sufficiency kind of a thing. I don't foresee us living the way that they did Laura Ingalls Wilder style, where we're just kind of, doing our own thing on our own property. We never have to, see the outside world. Unfortunately, that's not a reality. There are certain things that we still have to use, utilize, what have you. One of them being is technology. I do work from home, and even after I transition to my new job, which I'm super excited about, I'll still be working from home. So I still need things like internet, and we're still gonna need electricity. Right now, we are still on electric, like grid tied. At some point, I would like to change that. So we do have plans for that. But the reality is that we're starting off very, very simply and very, very small because, again, it's just the 2 of us, and we're both, I'll be 49 in January, and my husband will be 54 in January. So we're not young people by any stretch of the imagination. We're not really old, but we're not really young either. My attitudes and ideas and such were way more grandiose when I was still 20, and I had all that 20-year-old energy. But as someone who has raised 3 children, all 3 of my kids are out of the house now, and it's just a different season of life for us. We're starting small. Would I love to just be able to walk outside and gather my eggs and pick my vegetables? And I don't know what kind of animals we would ever raise. That I would be a terrible rancher, to be honest with you, because I think cows are adorable and I like to eat meat, but I don't know that I have the wherewithal to kill it myself. I'm just gonna be honest. But we are looking into things like, buying half a cow and putting that in the deep freeze. Just things like that that are manageable for us and for how we are living currently. We just went to the grocery store on Sunday, and that was, grocery shopping for me is such an anxiety-inducing endeavor. I mean, it really is kind of traumatic because the prices are so ridiculous. Just the amount of food that we got at the 2 stores we went to is so sad. And the fact that you have to go to more than 1 store to get a decent deal on something is ridiculous, because then you have to factor, is it really a good deal? Because you're also paying for gas. So that's a whole thing. But here on this channel, we're gonna do the things that we can, and we're gonna control the things that we can. Part of that for me is a garden. So I know it's barely out of November, we're coming into December, but considering that the last couple of months have flown by, I know it'll be time to start planting before we know it. And so I was super excited because I had not been able to find some of these books for like forever, but I knew I had them, and so it was kind of making me crazy because I didn't want to rebuy books I already had. But we'll start with some of the exciting things that I've actually gotten in the mail recently that I'm pretty stoked about. Let's see. Seed catalogs. I have been requesting seed catalogs because I wanted to get an idea what was available. I don't know if I'll be ordering from all these companies. There were a couple of companies that I ordered from last year that I was really happy with. One was Victory Seeds and the other was M.I. Gardener. And so I did like those, and so I'll probably be ordering from them again. Their prices are really good, and I was able to get like some weird wonky seeds that I couldn't find other places. The other ones I just got were Pine Tree. Just sent me this one, lovely. And their prices are also pretty good. For herbs, or whether it's the seed or the whole herb, dried and ready to go. I love Mountain Rose. And yeah, Mountain Rose herbs. I want to say Rose Mountain. I don't know why. I just want to flip them, but it's my brain. But yeah, they have an amazing catalog, and they're actually not far from where we used to live a long time ago. And so, yeah, loving this. Lots of great ideas. It's a beautiful catalog. And what else? Oh, Harris. This is a nice thick catalog, beautiful pictures, great prices. The quantities though are kind of huge, because I don't know that I necessarily need like a pound of anything, because it's just the two of us. So I'm still kind of trying to figure that out. And then Holmes is another great one. Again, beautiful catalog, beautiful pictures. Quantities are outrageous. So I need like, I want to buy seeds at a good price, but I don't necessarily need a pound of any particular seed. Because the other thing that I was doing last night after I'd found my books that I had misplaced, actually when we moved from Illinois, they got put into a box that was not the box they were labeled to be in, because you know, whatever. Because labeling isn't really a thing. So I couldn't find them, but we found them yesterday when we were cleaning out the storage room. Long story short, I'm excited to have them back. So one of the books that I found was this one, which I got the planner to go with, and I knew I already had this one, so I was loath to try to buy it again. I would have, but I really didn't want to. So I did get this. I do enjoy this. There's a couple of things that just really don't pertain to us. Like we don't have, and I don't know if anybody's interested, I guess I could do like a flip through or whatever, but we don't have like a field or a pasture. We don't have bees yet. I would like to get bees, but I gotta figure out where I'm gonna put all this stuff, because you know we only have an acre and a half, and you have to be really smart with how you plan things. So that's the other thing. I would like to have a small orchard, but again, size limits, you know, that sort of thing. So it'll be interesting to see how everything kind of lays itself out. What I do have is a good footprint for the garden. So that's what we're getting to today. So I've shown you my seed catalogs. So the other thing that I was looking at, oh, and then I did get this Clyde's Garden Planner. This is actually really handy because I can set it to my zone and what our last frost date is, and so this is actually pretty awesome, not gonna lie. But so one of the things I was doing is I was going through, and I have a huge list of things I want to grow. Like, it's massive. It's kind of ridiculous actually, because it's just the two of us and we both work full time, and yeah. But I mean, if you don't have your hopes, you don't have nothing, right? So anyway, I was looking at the different things that I wanted to grow, and I started thinking about like, how am I going to preserve all this stuff? Because again, it's just the two of us, so I don't really need like, you know, 100 jars of anything. Maybe like over accumulation of lots of jars, but I don't actually need like 1,000 jars of tomato sauce. We're just not gonna get through that a year or 2 years. So I was looking at ways of preserving things, and there's a couple of things that I do want to grow that are not things that you would typically can. Although you could if you made them into like jellies and that sort of thing, or relishes, or chutneys. What's the other one? Oh, marmalades. That was the one. And persimmons is one of those. So there are a few things on my list that are more, and I guess maybe it's because I'm part Asian. So there's a few things in here that I really want to grow that maybe aren't on everybody else's list, like goji berries is one of them. I want to do Asian pears because I'm not really big on other pears. I love Asian pears. And I want to do a fig tree and jujubes because I love those. I always call them jujubes. I don't know if that's what they're actually called, but they're spelled jujube. but they're so delicious. Love them so much. And so I really want to grow those. And persimmons. Now I have thought about pawpaws as well because they're kind of an Oklahoma thing, but I don't really know because I've never actually had a pawpaw, but they do look kind of cool. So it's kind of lower on the list of things. The others that I really want to grow is I definitely want to grow chestnuts because those hold a lot of memories for me, and I love chestnuts. So those are my more Asian-y type things. And so trying to figure out how I'm going to store these things, because some of them don't have great shelf life. Like once they're ripe, better start eating. The other one that I kind of is in that same realm is Asian melons. They're like the yellow, they're like this big, and they're yellow and they have kind of like a pale yellow stripe. I think they're called musk melons, maybe? I don't know, we always call them Korean melons when I was growing up, so I really don't know what that translates to in normal speak. But yeah. So that amongst all of my Korean vegetables and that sort of thing. So I started going through my books, and two of the ones that I really love and that I get a lot of information from, and that actually do kind of like, they both, between the two of them, I can kind of get an idea of what I can and can't do as far as storage goes. One is How to Store Your Garden Produce, The Key to Self-Sufficiency by Piers Warren. So I really like this one. It's not a terribly thick book, but I kind of feel like it kind of gets to the point of what you can and can't do. So I definitely like that. And there are recipes in here also of things that you can use your stuff for, which I think is kind of more the point of this particular book, is using your items, either pickling, fermenting, or just turning into like different dish, like end products that you would store. This one I really like. And although we don't have a root cellar yet, we are definitely thinking about what we're going to do for a root cellar at the end of the harvest. Because the last thing I want to do is spend my entire spring and summer and fall on growing and then harvesting and producing, all that kind of stuff, and then lose everything. So this one's really important. It says this is the Root Cellaring Natural Cold Storage of Fruits and Vegetables by Mike and Nancy Bubel. I don't know, it's B-U-B-E-L, so however you pronounce that. This one's great, and it shows you lots of different ways that you can make a root cellar, what you can turn into a root cellar. So it gives you a lot of great ideas on root cellaring, which I think would be kind of crucial for what we're going to try and do. But those are for like your normal vegetables like carrots, potatoes, rhubarb, you know, all those, not rhubarb, rutabagas, that sort of thing. So like your root veg and gourds, that sort of thing are really more, I think, in some like your like apples, those things tend to store a little bit better than some of the stuff that I want to grow. So I have to actually be able to harvest it, do something with it, and then store it. So last year I bought myself, was it last year? No, actually I think it was probably the beginning of this year maybe, because I was gonna plant the garden at the old house and then that kind of fell through and blah, 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 blah. I got the all new Ball Book of Canning because I had the original, and again, I couldn't find it, but I did find it. And the difference is like, wow. Now, I don't know if this is the original. This one just says it's the 100th anniversary edition. So whatever that means. But it's not like the world's thickest book. But between these two and then my other one, the Better Homes and Gardens, You Can Can, I have determined that there are some things that I'm not going to be able to store the way I had initially thought that I would. Like, I honestly didn't know. Like, I thought you could just take a watermelon and put it in cold storage, like a root cellar, and it would just be fine for a little while, but it really won't. So you actually have to do something with it. So for like my normal melons, well, actually all my melons, I'll most likely end up having to either freeze them or dehydrate them, which is fine. But I guess, am I getting to a point here? I am. So like last night I had a conversation with Roger because obviously he will be one of the consumers of end products. And we kind of discussed like, there's like, how many different types of melon? Hang on, let me figure this out. Because the other thing about when you're, for me anyway, planning involves paper and a pen. And so like my veggie list is ridiculous. Like we'll see how far we get with the veggies and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, because the other thing I really want to grow is I want to have like a massive herb garden because I want to do more with that. But anyway, so I wanted to grow Asian melons, cantaloupe, cassava, honeydew, and watermelon, and maybe pepinos. Pepinos? We're back to that whole pronunciation thing. Anyway, they're not long on the shelf kind of thing. Like you put them in your fridge and they'll last a few days, but we only have so much fridge space. So that got us kind of thinking like how many plants we need of each for the two of us. And that's kind of what we're doing with all of it. So while I have this huge long list, and I know that limiting the number of plants you have, not only does it limit the amount that you harvest, but it could cause problems if some of those don't take. And then you end up with none. So, I mean, we kind of have to weigh it out in that regard. But as far as the melons go, like, I can't, even in a regular season of just, you know, an average year, we probably don't eat more than 2 watermelons a summer. Like that's pretty much it. Now, does that mean that I'm gonna somehow magically find a plant that only grows 2 watermelons a year? No. But what it does mean is that what we do grow, and as it ripens and it's ready, I have to process it right away. So for us, that's gonna mean like flash freezing it, and then like, so flash freezing to me is I take it, I put it on a cookie sheet, I lay it out flat, and then I pop it in the freezer. Once it's all frozen, then I put it in a baggie. That's what that means to me. You can also puree it and freeze it like little cubes to use for other things like smoothies and stuff, but we really don't eat smoothies or drink smoothies. We're not smoothie people. So for me, I'm thinking that dehydration is probably going to be the best way to go for us, because we'll actually eat them that way, because they're kind of like, ooh, it's like a snack, but it's a healthy snack. So then that gets in, and I do have a huge food dehydrator that he got for me. So then that kind of comes into the logistics of prepping, dehydrating, and then that whole thing. So I may have to cut back on some of my idea of what I want to grow, just based off of what I know that we'll be able to process and actually consume, because I don't want it to be wasteful. But I do know that, you know, we plan to have chickens and ducks, and those are also great treats for them. So we'll see. My main focus though is going to be on those things that we do use. We do use a lot of tomatoes, a lot of beans. My husband really likes corn, but he doesn't like canned corn. He only likes frozen corn. So there's that. Pickles, we love pickles. We have an entire shelf in our refrigerator that's just pickled things. And then of course I want to have my salsa garden and my kimchi garden, because those are things that are important to me. So yeah, so it's going to be a lot, and I'm trying to work out the logistics. And then I've also kind of been looking into companion planting, because I really don't want to have to like pump a lot of stuff into the garden. I'm not putting any chemicals regardless, even if all of it gets eaten by other bugs. I'm just not going to. But I do know that companion planting helps, as well as things like diatomaceous earth. But I don't want to kill like healthy, helpful bugs like earthworms and that sort of thing. So there's got to be some kind of give and take here. So yeah, so I was pretty excited to find my books and start really kind of honing in on the number of plants we're going to need for the two of us, what we can consume in a reasonable, you know, amount of time. Would it be awesome to store more than a year's worth of food? Of course, but I don't want to be wasteful, and I don't want to become so overwhelming at harvest that we just give up, because that sucks. So, and it's been years since I've had like an actual garden, and yeah, so that's kind of what this channel is going to be. It's going to be watching me figure out how to grow food on an acre and a half and not go crazy. So yeah, that's basically it. I did do another walk around of the property from the last video showing all the things that had changed. I'll be putting that up soon as well. I just think it's really interesting to see. I want to see if I can't do some like split screen stuff so you can see like before and after. I don't know. I'm not a great editor. I'm just not. I'm not. So, but anyway, I'm going to see what I can do and hopefully I can make it work so it makes sense, because I don't know. I'm not a great editor. I'm just not. But anyway, I just kind of want to share that with you, my plans, because I know we're getting so close to the new year, and I'm one of those people, like, if you don't have a plan, you plan to fail kind of things. And so I was just kind of curious if anybody else out there is getting their garden plans together. Are you planning what seeds you're going to do? Are you going to do seedlings? Are you going to do little plants? Are you going to actually, you know, start your own seeds? Like, how are y'all doing this stuff? I'm very curious, because it's been like I said, it's been, okay, Jai is 20. So 7 years, maybe, probably 7 years, maybe a little more since I've had an actual garden. So it's literally like starting over again. And I'm hoping it's kind of like riding a bike where you fall off and you figure it out again. I know maybe that's riding the horse. Either way, I'm hoping it's easy enough to remember how to do once I start doing it again. I'm hoping there's a little bit of muscle memory in there somewhere. So wish me luck. And anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'm sorry I babble so much. I don't know why I babble so much. But anyway, thank you guys for being here and for watching, and yeah, give me your ideas down below. I'm super curious, and I'm like so excited to start this whole thing. And I know I've got to like pull it back, because it's going to be too much, and I don't want to be overwhelmed. So let me know what you think. And as always, thank you guys so much for being here. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the fun things, and I will see you next time. Bye.